I'm happy Monday.
It's a wonder. Well, and it feels like a Monday. Can we be honest? Can we be honest? It feels like a Monday. And it feels like we didn't stop not once over the weekend, Allie. And that would also be true. Straight through the weekend.
Yeah, it's been quite insane. You go from a national summit in Orlando to your son's last senior game before playoff, back to, it was like, it was nonstop. Go, go, go. Traffic, by the way, go, go, go. I don't know if you've noticed, Florida's full.
Florida's full.
Very full.
In all directions. We thought it was just an I-4 issue. It is a Interstate 75 thing, too.
It's a local issue. Like, I literally live 16 minutes from my kid's school, and it takes me almost an hour to get there.
Are you serious?
I swear. Wow. If I have to leave like at 7:15, 7:20, and then I get there like in 20 minutes maybe. If I leave at 7:30 or after at 7:25, I'm in traffic for like 35, 45 minutes.
Yeah. No bueno. We are going to update you guys on what we did over the weekend. It was a wonderful Moms for Liberty celebration over the weekend. Ceasefire was off again and then on again.
On again and then off again. What?
We'll bring you some updates. I mean, it's
like somebody's like shaking that black 8 ball, like trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Can we see the terms and conditions for the rest of the year and for 2026 before we agree? Because I'm just saying. Lots of fun stuff talking about really what's happened over the weekend with the No Kings protest, and it wasn't great. I'm just going to say that. But that and so much more, guys. You keep it here because we keep it locked and loaded with our weapon of choice. Where's my microphone?
Yep, wrong side. Our microphone. All right, you guys, let's open that mic.
Like, where'd it go?
Taking back our freedom, back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love Gabbard and Trump. I trust November 5th. You gon' ride with us? Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor Maggie, the RNC King. 2024 freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
It's not me over here singing. For those of you that are tuning in, we are a little limited on some of our social media platforms today, getting that worked on. So, of course, we are on Rumble. Nice. I wore mine to the pool at the hotel yesterday.
I know, and I had my Patriot gear, my official Patriot gear T-shirt on, and like the looks we were
nobody threw anything at us. It was, I mean, it was. There was a few that triggered.
I thought it was funny because you were like, "Oh no, they're ethnic, so we have to behave." So like nobody said anything.
Had some people that are like Latina, and you're like, "Oh, so now they're just uninformed voters."
Well, they just think that you're white and I'm black, so it's fine. They won't say anything. Yeah, it's right.
Yeah, yeah.
So low.
Whatever.
We're American. It doesn't matter.
Ugh. We're American, and we eat tacos 5 days a week, at least, if you'd like.
Facts, bro. Like breakfast tacos, lunch taco, quesadillas. Like it's.
Oh my gosh, Allie, we had so much fun together. We were at the Moms for Liberty National Summit. Hey, what would be offensive about moms who stand up for their families and their children and for better education? You would think nothing would be really offensive about that, but apparently,
the fact that they push back on the teachers union, and the fact that they speak at school board meetings, and the fact that they say that they don't co-parent with the government, and the fact that they push parental rights, and yes.
What I love is it wasn't just parents, though. You've got grandparents, you've got a lot of husbands come with, so you've got all these dads for liberty kind of. I
love that panel. It was so cute. It was so
very
good.
Cute, and how important it is to have quality men in the lives of your family and your children. But one of our favorites that spoke, obviously, he is a representative from right here in Florida, but governor candidate Byron Donalds. Let's take a listen to just a little bit of what he had to say.
Something special happened in my life. It's something I actually expected, but it happened. My mother subscribed to Time magazine when I was a kid, all the time. So it would come to the house once a week. And I was honored, and it was unexpected, but I was honored as like a Time 100 Next individual in the country. And I called my mom. And I said, Mom, this honor came out of nowhere. I don't know who nominated, but this really is your honor. It's not even mine. Because I would not be the man that I am today if it wasn't for my mother. My mother bet on me when other people wouldn't. My mother took risks and chances for me when other people wouldn't. My mother sacrificed cars and vacations and stuff just to make sure I got the best education possible. My mother was a mom for liberty long before this organization was created.
Oh my gosh.
And so that passion that Meredith P. Brown, and if you know my mother, you got to say the whole name. That passion for Meredith P. Brown, for her son and for her children, is the same passion that all of you have for your children. And it's the same passion that mothers all across this country have for theirs.
I loved that he spoke so highly of his mom and made it more about her than about himself and his race. I think that was my favorite part of his entire speech, was just that centerpiece of like his mom, lifting her up and saying how incredible she was and how inspiring she was to him. There were many men in the room and many men that we spoke to, including one of our favorites, Blake Reynolds, who's the star of Raising Reynolds with We the People Studios. He literally said the same thing. He's like, let's face it, every man is afraid of their mom. But every man respects their mom, right? So it was just amazing.
And you touched on something there, Allie, too, because, in order to attend a weekend summit, to get plugged into what's going on across the nation, what to expect in education and sort of get educated and all on the same page, it takes a lot. I mean, they were joking that how many of you moms actually had to meal plan before you came here because you're leaving your house for 3 days and people are like, Ma, what are we going to eat? Or, had to find childcare. How many of you, like your husbands, are reworking their schedules to be able to stay home? Because when a mom gets involved, it's not just like getting up and going to work every day. Like there's 1,700 things that have to happen in order for you to be where you're at. And it was to get all those moms together and dads, obviously, too. But what he said touched my heart because I think while moms were there and we were being educated on things like AI and education and other things, other topics they talked about, we have to remember that you're still making an impact at home. And even when you don't feel like it, right? Even when the laundry's not done and there's a sink full of dishes and you're making chicken for the 4th time that week and you're just like trying to find a different way to make chicken. And you're like, I'm doing it all wrong, Lord. I know I'm doing it all wrong. And it's like, no, you're showing up. And that means something. And so it was nice.
His speech kind of made me cry because my oldest is going off to college.
Yes, ma'am.
In like a totally different state. And
I know, baby.
You hope that you've done everything right when they leave. And to see my baby girl, she'll be 10 in December, and she's just like, Mommy, I'm going to miss him so much. That's my big, big brother. And she's just crying. And I'm like, he hasn't even left yet. And so she's just feeling it. And it's been an emotional weekend.
It has. And there's nobody I would rather spend it with than my sister, Allie. So,
love it.
This was wonderful. Moms for Liberty was kind enough to repost this. They had a panel of, we'll just show the picture here, of a lot of influencers and independent journalists. Hey, we clean up nice, Allie.
We do. Look at us. I think so. I'm going to dub my name Princess Peach.
I look like Dancing with the Stars.
You do. I'm saying, oh my gosh, you're like super fly. Like, okay, ma'am. No, and then that's Blake Reynolds there in the middle, and then we have Scarlett Johnson. She's amazing. Yes, she's behind. She does amazing content, and she tries to bring in the influencers. And then we have I believe her. Oh my gosh, Lindsay Libb. She is a liberal, a bold liberal. But she stands for conservative values, which is really cool. It's like,
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Amazing.
Got a huge platform. And then that's Lindsay Schaefer and Lydia Schaefer. And she is also known as Conservative Barbie 2.0. So we had an amazing time.
It's amazing.
It was really great.
Amazing.
I think they might be trying to figure out how we could all have a show together.
Right? Because, well, so all they did was give us a microphone. This is what
That was
happens when
it.
you talk for a living. They gave us a couple microphones and just riffing, like obviously unscripted, a lot like how we are here on this show. But that's what people want to hear. They're tired of talking points on mainstream media where they're trying to lead you to a narrative as opposed to just presenting what happened and then discussing it. I think we'd much rather feel like you're a part of the discussion. You're not being told what to think and what to believe. And it's just kind of refreshing. It's refreshing. And every last one of them, guys, and us included, just basically got our start just by plugging in, right? Plugging in.
Yeah, and a lot of it started during COVID, like how almost everything did. And, we were just pissed off parents and moms and
go figure. You've ticked off a mom.
Women. But I loved it because we had, bold, well-behaved women rarely make history. And bold women say yes to things they're not fully ready for. And we step.
Don't be a lady, be a legend.
Right? Don't be a lady, be a legend. We step out on faith a lot. And we have this unwavering faith in the Lord that, whatever we do will be blessed.
Yes.
Regardless of the trials and tribulations. There was even a mom her son was medically kidnapped and she couldn't make it to the award ceremony.
She was being presented with an award in Oklahoma and she couldn't make it. And by medically kidnapped, we mean her son is battling cancer. And if that's not bad enough, she's choosing more holistic methods to treat him. And when he was brought into the hospital for something and they realized he wasn't having chemo or other things, they basically hijacked him and wouldn't let him leave.
She was sold out by family members because family members didn't agree with her decision. Like, how disgusting is that?
And how many of us did that happen to even through COVID? There were complete divisions between family. Because I know, I was just this, bullhorn of ivermectin. Can we just get something? Hydroxychloroquine. Oh, they're giving it over here. They're not giving it over here. And people were like, stop it. You're making waves and they're going to treat him badly in the hospital if you do that. And I'm like, listen to what you're saying. So all is better now, but in some families. But for her, think about it. A family member just says, I don't think she should be able to do this type of treatment for her own child and turns her in. Allie, I want to pivot to just some international news because we did have this broke. I want to give you the good news first, guys. Good news is there's a breaking update following intervention from Daddy Trump. The administration, the Trump administration, the ceasefire is back and holding. Take a look at this. However, aid will resume to Gaza after brief pause. This is being reported by Axios, however, but it says the IDF has begun the renewed enforcement of a ceasefire. That's from Israeli military. So maybe if you were tuned out over the weekend, you're like, what? I thought we already had phase one of a peace deal. Well, we did. But obviously evil doesn't die that hard. So you've got people within Hamas that have come out and attacked over the weekend. They attacked two Israeli soldiers. 2 Israeli soldiers were killed. Take a listen to Fox News anchor explain here in Tel Aviv.
Military official telling Fox News that Hamas violated the ceasefire agreement, launching an RPG and a sniper attack against Israeli forces inside Gaza. In response, the Israeli military bombed targets in the southern and northern parts of the enclave. This military official telling Fox this is a bold violation of the ceasefire. Remember, the Israelis are still in control of 53% of Gaza. They have remained on high alert over concerns that Hamas might violate the agreement. And they built out a series of preparations for this very possibility. Already today, there are calls from Israeli ministers on the far right, including Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, to resume the war against Hamas. But we do understand Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to hold security consultations today about this Hamas ceasefire violation to determine the next steps. All of this taking place as U.S. officials are set to visit the region.
So obviously that was before. They've now gone back into a ceasefire. But you can see Israel only has 53% of Gaza because they haven't dialed back to what the negotiated line is. That's the end goal, right, at the end of this peace deal. Do you see why this And they share just a sliver of a border in Gaza with Hamas. And it's like, what are you doing?
So I just want to bring up a point. Hamas violated the peace deal when they didn't return all 34 bodies. They violated the peace deal when they keep
imagine, Allie, imagine thinking you're getting the remains of your loved one. Yeah.
Right. This is the third time that they've violated the peace deal. And when you're killing your own people, right, because of whatever reason, like this whole situation is just ridiculous. This is why you cannot negotiate with terrorists in that region. You just can't. Because they have a whole different mindset. And I'm glad that it's back on the ceasefire. Who knows how long it'll last.
Yeah.
But I don't think President Trump is playing. I really don't.
So the two Israeli soldiers, there were 2 Israeli soldiers killed, 3 others wounded in attack in Rafah, southern Gaza earlier. This was Saturday. So obviously we monitored this even as we were at our event, Allie, and then woke up this morning and realized the ceasefire is back on. But this is why when you have an organization, if you want to loosely call them that, Hamas, that chants from the river to the sea, they're talking about no longer having Israel. That makes it very hard to negotiate with. So you understand they're trying. And all of you who are, preaching and screaming for a Palestinian state, you're really preaching and screaming at the wrong individuals. You should be preaching and screaming to Hamas.
Right.
Who apparently are the elected group. I would hate to see that kind of election anti-integrity that's going on there. But let's, so it's not it's not U.S. The U.S. It's not Israeli. It is very much Hamas. It is their fault. And when you see it infiltrating here through these paid protests, like No King's Day, which somebody said on social media, Allie, congratulations, you did it. We woke up on Monday and there is no king. Great job. Great job. President Trump is still in office, by the way.
In all 50 states, by the way. And kings, first of all, don't allow you to protest. No kings. And 2,
that part.
Right. Duh. Tell me you don't know the definition of kings without telling me you don't know the definition of kings. You've never lived under an oligarchy before, clearly. So, and also, kings are not duly elected.
The only king I've thoroughly enjoyed is the one that played the king in Hamilton. He was fabulous.
He was funny. I like the way they portrayed him. The only king that I like is Jesus. So
thank you, Lord. Oh my God, so good. Love that, Allie. Allie, did you hear about this story? This is crazy. The U.S. Secret Service uncovered a suspicious hunting stand.
Yep.
With direct line of sight, guys, to where President Trump exits Air Force One at Palm Beach International Airport. Y'all, President Trump lives in Palm Beach. Like, between the golf course and this, and I get it. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'll stop yelling. But this is the Secret Service's job, right, is to always scan the perimeter. So, yay that they found it. There were some talk about Trump going back up Air Force One on the small stairs, the short stairs, because he was hurried. I don't know. My stomach's physically upset right now thinking about this.
How about we put like a bulletproof tarmac, like tunnel to the tarmac? Like it could be clear, but he's got to run through it, like walk through it, and it's bulletproof. Like we can figure out how is it that I am, and I'm not in national security. I am not a Secret Service agent. I am not responsible for keeping the president alive. And I'm over here already coming up with freaking solutions to the president not being in the line of sight of somebody sitting up in a tree somewhere that you haven't figured out that there's trees back there. Like, what are y'all even doing? We can build all kinds of stuff for no reason, but you can't build a bulletproof tunnel to have the president walk through?
I'm pretty sure the Pope has something like that over in the Vatican. I know he's got like an army.
Right,
like
the Pope. We're going to protect the Pope. We're not going to protect the man of the free world.
So this is what Kash Patel says, the director of the FBI. Prior to the president's return to West Palm Beach, the Secret Service discovered what appeared to be an elevated hunting stand within sight line of Air Force One's landing zone. No individuals were located at the scene. The FBI has since taken over the investigatory lead, flying in resources to collect all types of evidence. So Secret Service ultimately, obviously, we're glad this is before Trump landed. They did their job. We're grateful. But still too close for comfort.
Absolutely. This makes my stomach turn. Like, I can't imagine. Oh my Lord. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine.
No, we're not playing this. We're not. We're not playing this. You shared something with me overnight, and it was from Sean Farage. So I thought maybe it was a nice little, Trump impersonation video. But I went through and read the comments, and Sean is so spot on. I absolutely love him. But he says this about Thomas Massie. Guys, this is one of our leading Republicans in Congress right now. Thomas Massie, he says, was the deciding vote, a 7-6 vote, to move the Fiscal Responsibility Act, which, of course, as a conservative, we're all supposed to want fiscal conservatism, of 2023. He was the deciding vote, Thomas Massie, to move it out of the House Rules Committee and to allow for a full vote on the House. He also favored the bill in general. So what did this bill do, guys? It raised the spending ceiling for then President Joe Biden. This was the interesting thing, this bill that he voted for. And of course, we're out them on both sides of the aisle. We have no problem. But this bill suspended the debt ceiling, and it wound up costing us $3 trillion in national debt. But now it's come out, Sean Farage is reporting that Thomas Massie took money from IPAC. And that is a PAC that is aligned with the Democratic Socialists of America working to fight ICE. So this is why it's so important to understand where the money's coming in from during campaign season. Like, everybody's got an open hand, but you can't tell me that you don't know.
Look, hold up.
You said Thomas Massie is collecting donations from IPAC, an organization that works with Democratic Socialists of America to fight ICE.
Nope. I didn't make it up. There it is. Politico. Yeah.
I'm rarely speechless. I don't know what to say.
We call balls and strikes on both teams. We really do. We really do.
Thomas Massie, the one who's like the constitutional guru of the entire congressional makeup body.
And again, Mr. Massie, Congressman Massie, if you want to provide a statement, which I scoured high and low for a statement in rebuttal to this, I will gladly bring you on. I'll air your statement.
Can we call his office? Can we do it?
I tried. There was not even a voicemail. It was 6 o'clock this morning in his defense. But yeah, let's do that. You want to work that out?
Lord.
Allie's like, I'm looking. So again, finding out where your money's coming from. This has got to be the call to action in 2026. We need not only you watching at home to step up and make sure you're supporting the candidate of choice down ballot throughout 2026, but we also, as candidates, and I include myself in this because I am a candidate for 2026, we have to really watch what money's coming in, because people will donate. People will donate in your name. I've had people call and donate to like other organizations in my name, which is, by the way, illegal. So you have to watch this, because anybody with any integrity should be able to say, you know what, give the money back. I don't want it.
I've met him. Like, I've had conversations with him.
I'm looking for a statement. He needs a statement. Because in the absence of a statement, all we have is the reporting. Now, could somebody be wanting to take down Thomas Massie because they don't like him and they're stirring these stories? Sure, very well possible. Where's your statement?
Yeah, rumors are like flying like freaking flies to caca. So
yeah,
and it's getting some certain people in some hot water. But
well, and Sean Farage goes down because people are like talking about, he's had the best voting record as a conservative in Congress, and he says adding $3 trillion to the national debt is conservative. Somebody goes on to say, that you want to talk a bandwidth principle. He's not released the Epstein. Who hasn't released the Epstein file yet? Donald Trump. At least Thomas Massie was saying he wanted to release the Epstein records, and Sean Farage comes back and says, well, he hasn't released the Epstein files either. He said he had his own. He had his own way of getting to them, so he must be harboring pedophiles. I love that Sean Farage stays on social media and he just tit for tat, like we'll go back, kind of like you do sometimes too, Allie. You'll decide which arguments are worth zeroing in on and just go in there and like, because he's asking the right questions. Listen, we love to support our America First Patriots, but you're going to be called out if there's questions, and you should. It's called accountability.
Right.
And that's why they shy from independent journalists.
You're
and
supposed to
influencers.
be able to ask questions, and if you can't ask questions, that's not a republic, is it?
That's why they say we have a democracy, because it's majority rule. We do not have a pure democracy. We don't have mob rule. Even our minorities are equally represented in both House and Senate. So we have a constitution.
Here, I'm gonna break this down. I'm gonna break this down for y'all that think
Break it
that
down one time.
and we're gonna use this. This will be a clip, I'm sure. Okay, so when people say that we have a democracy, I need y'all to understand that our founding fathers did not see it this way. This is from Thomas Jefferson, right? 1, a democracy is nothing more than mob rule, where 51% of the people may take away the rights of the other 49. That's Thomas Jefferson.
Yep.
Remember, democracy never lasts long. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself. There never was a democracy yet that did not commit suicide. John Adams.
Yep.
Democracy is 2 wolves and a lamb voting on what to have for lunch. Liberty is a well-armed lamb contesting the vote. Benjamin Franklin.
Yep.
We are a Republican government. Real liberty is never found in despotism or in the extremes of democracy. Alexander Hamilton. We do not have a democracy.
Constitutional republic, and we're fighting like hell to keep it.
That part.
That part. Well, when I say fighting, let's talk about the U.S. War Department. This does not look good for Maduro, is all I'm going to say.
Sorry, I got excited because I have a Department of War t-shirt. Just excited about it.
How'd you get a Department of War t-shirt?
Mark Naughton was selling it after our friend James R. from Pirate Radio had a stroke and needed some help with some medical bills. So I bought one.
I love that.
Got to help our friends.
You're probably one of the first to own a Department of War because the name was recently changed. So take a look at this.
Yep, it says reestablished.
The U.S. War Department has massed 10,000 plus troops in the region, with most in Puerto Rico. So they're kind of using Puerto Rico as a launching place. You can see right there that we've got the B-52 bombers, special forces in Trinidad and Tobago. So you're asking, what is going on there? What is taking place there? And how is this America first? That's what I always get told on social media. I'm going to explain to you how it's America first, because when you've got cartels in charge of leadership in South American countries in this region, predominantly Venezuela, who held, we can thank all things with voter lack of integrity. We can thank all things back to Venezuela. All things, including those who make machines to count votes. They've not held a really free and fair election anytime in my lifetime. So Maduro is not a duly elected president in Venezuela. We've had many people on the ground the night of the election as we watched. Clearly, he did not win. He had him and his cartel thugs arrest his counterpart, the person who actually won the election. And has just seized power. Cartels and thugs are in power in Venezuela. Everything we're hearing is that the Venezuelan people did not vote for this. So that's one. Okay, so all of you who are concerned about these people that come here illegally, escaping atrocities in Venezuela, we're trying to help Venezuela. But number 2, you can't sell and ship into this country by submarines. It's not like everybody has a submarine. By submarines, cocaine, other types of drugs, synthetic fentanyl. We talk about China. Guess what? They're working hand in hand with Venezuela. Venezuela is the last leg of that trip before it comes onto our soil. So what would you like us to do? How is that not an act of war to be poisoning our own citizens with this toxicity that's coming across the Gulf? Wait, hold on. We have another picture. Can I show this real quick?
Yes, show it, because I sent it to you and I'm so excited. I was just about to pull it up too.
The Gulf of
exploding cartel members.
I can't fit that on a hat, though. Darn it. I mean, you could call it the Gulf of America.
Look, we could totally make it a t-shirt and have like a boat with like, you know what I'm saying? I love it. Merch. Bree, where are you? Bree. Where's Bree?
Merch idea, Brie.
And that's copywritten because we just said it out loud. So if we see it out there, we know you stole it and we're coming after you. So don't play.
I love that. Well, and so, we want to pray for those men and women that are obviously in the Gulf of America right now. But Maduro is not, my hope, honestly, was to bring him to justice. Like, as far as I would love to hear him talk and rat out all, because listen, he's just the top, right? There's just with any criminal network, he's just the top. He's just the face of it all. There's a ton below him. Maybe there are some even within his regime that we're hoping, just like with Hitler, some within his regime that will do the right thing and, either turn him over to authorities, because turn him over to the United States government. I think there is a bounty on him because for all these people that scream Nazis, that they don't want Nazis, yet they'll turn a blind eye to what's happening in Venezuela. It's like, it's literally, he's linking with China, linking with an Iranian government that the people even in Iran don't want. So we can't allow that in our hemisphere.
Because the Iran regime that's like hostile is the one who's behind Hamas. So like, what is really going on? And did you also know that Venezuela and Argentina were hideouts for Nazis? When they lost, like that's who we're up against.
Absolutely. There are entire towns of that. Allie, so this, before we go to commercial break, I found this and I think it should just be the meme of the week. Let's take a look at it. I mean, if you messed around in 2020, 2024, and I'm just going to tell you that includes the election of 2020 that was stolen, you're going to find out. The next 4 years. And we are not even a full year in. And what I love, Allie, is that part of the cleaning up of the streets, which we'll get to in our next segment, this has a lot to do with organized crime.
Yeah.
And how organized crime has been allowed because of a lack of leadership in this country, because we were governed by an auto pen, essentially. That's what's allowed these criminal networks to permeate and even have control in some of our Democrat-run cities here in this country. So, guys, we're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear Allie talk about Liberty cigars. There's going to be a lot to celebrate. Plus, we've got the New Year coming up, plus Christmas. You know somebody who smokes cigars in your life who would just love to have a Liberty-minded cigar.
Listen, and every Trump Tuesday, every single time Trump explodes a cartel boat, they smoke one. So grab you a box.
I need some for this week.
Right. Grab you a box and celebrate all of the wins in this administration. We'll be right back after this.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OPENMIC for 10% off your order.
Gold IRA companies are a dime a dozen, especially in conservative media. We vetted out 34 companies and chose Augusta Precious Metals.
With the lowest across-the-board spreads in the gold IRA industry, Augusta saves Americans thousands of dollars.
They are the only major gold IRA company that has zero complaints from their customers. Zero. None.
Augusta Precious Metals does not have commissioned sales reps, which means their goals are aligned with yours.
They were the only gold IRA company that demonstrated integrity and transparency without using gimmicks.
The informative one-on-one web conferences by Augusta Precious Metals answer all of their customers' questions before they make a move.
If you're ready to learn about protecting your wealth and retirement with gold and silver, request your free gold guide from Augusta Precious Metals today.
Visit patriot.tv/gold. That's patriot.tv/gold today.
Welcome, welcome to Open Mic with Allie and Michelle on this beautiful MAGA Monday. And I say beautiful because we got if you are in the southeastern hemisphere, you're getting a little bit of a cooling off. Well, maybe not by the time the show's over, because usually by 11.
Right. It's going to be like 87 today, but this morning it was like 68. So
it was. I was like, I want to buy pumpkins. I just want to buy pumpkins now. Like, it just got a little bit cooler, but yeah. Allie, this next story that I want to talk about. So we had the ability, and this is why the Moms for Liberty Summit and others like it in the conservative movement are so important, because we were able to tune in over the weekend to basically a debate on AI. And what do we think about artificial intelligence and its role in education, right? Yeah. And I love it because there were two sides, definitely two different sides of the argument, and we listened. But
I'm not sure it was a very strong argument for it. I mean, I've heard Erica Donalds talk about it a little bit, and I think her arguments are a little stronger than the guy that was in support of it, but she's also very cautious. So
yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, I agree. And I just want you guys to listen briefly to this is in Utah, and I think about Utah because that is obviously where the assassination of Charlie Kirk happened. There's a lot of people that have opinions about what they saw, what led up to it, and obviously the place we go for all those opinions is social media, because it's this free place to share your opinion. So when this came out, this social media bill in the state of Utah, so this is what they're looking at for a law there. It's SB 194 or House Bill 464. It's looking to be fast-tracked in 2025. Now, government doesn't fast-track many things. So the fact that they want to fast-track this perked our ears. Let's take a little listen to somebody in the legislature there, and then we'll talk about it.
This is not good for us. It is not good to consume. Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. We have seen an escalation in violence that has been happening across the country. We've had periods like this in our past history. I've mentioned before, in the late 60s and early 70s, certainly we saw these types of high-profile political assassinations, another dark time in our history. And I can't emphasize enough the damage that social media and the internet is doing to all of us. The conflict entrepreneurs are taking advantage of.
So that's just a synopsis from Governor Spencer Cox in Utah. Now, the reason, so what he's basically doing, Allie, just like they did in Florida, really, he's talking about the harms of social media. And so they're wanting to fast track this bill. We obviously agree that too much time on social media, not a good thing. Maybe some young people on social media, not such a good thing. But the privacy protections that they're trying to put in Utah, you guys, is basically offering the government in the state of Utah a kill switch for your speech on social media. The way that the bill is written, and I haven't obviously gotten through all of the pages because I just got this morning, but the privacy protections that they're putting on there basically say, listen, if you're talking about something and we think that it's an ongoing investigation, you shouldn't be able to talk about it, they can pull the plug.
I vehemently disagree with this. Like wholeheartedly, every cell in my being. No, absolutely not. First Amendment must be protected in all areas. This is the problem, is that we have independent journalists that are finding out information before the investigators that are assigned to these investigations are finding out information. And I don't think that they like that we are able to put that information out to the public before they are. They don't like that we are able to have a public square and discuss these issues and come to our own conclusions than being fed the information. And if you're going to fast track anything, you need to fast track killing the Patriot Act. You need to fast track repealing the Smith Modernization Act of 2012.
The Smith Modernization Act would solve this.
Right, exactly. So why are we fast tracking something that's squashing the First Amendment, but not something that's going to benefit the American people? What are y'all doing in Congress? Like, I honestly feel like we should just get rid of everybody that's in Congress and start over.
And the reason we're talking about this here, guys, is that this is the Utah state government that's doing this. So they're wanting to fast track this in the state of Utah. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because if you don't already, you or somebody that you know should be should have a way of tracking what bills are currently moving through your own state legislature, right? And you should be able to look, because they'll name them something really, really nice. I mean, who doesn't like privacy protections? Like, we all love that. But when you dial in and you read the legislation, you can see that, wait a minute, this is a grab for that. And they're also talking, especially in the state of Utah, of potentially going back and being able to scrub things retroactively. So
no,
this would
absolutely not. And like, and is it a Republican that put this through?
And Spencer Cox, the Republican governor of Utah, that wants to sign it. He's like, bring it. I want to sign it. Think about what this does to everybody that's posting right now about the Charlie Kirk political assassination. The 3,000 and some students that were there and had first time, like, witnesses. We wouldn't have even known about the person on the roof without somebody's video, a student's video. So that's going to be scrubbed?
In Utah, I'm going to need y'all to stand up. Excuse me, Utah Moms for America, Utah Moms for Liberty, Utah TPUSA, Utah constitutional conservatives. Y'all need to go and call your governor and tell him that this can't happen. This bill, he has to veto this.
I'm going to give you a perfect example. This was posted by DHS, the Department of Homeland Security. The first sentence says, "We have the receipts." Why? Because they could go back and see what was posted before. This is why you don't scrub it. Maybe you archive it if it's something that's pornography or something, but you don't just have the right to put a kill switch. It says this young man posted violent threats of murder against our law enforcement.
Yep.
So what did they do? They went back and they were able to. He had committed and bragged about having violence against the agents and law enforcement, ICE agents. Is he wearing slides with tall socks?
No, they're sneakers.
Okay, I just had to. That bugs me when people do that around the pool. Sorry, but they came out and said, no, I didn't. I was not guilty of that. That wasn't me. There you have it. They went through the history and found it, and that's
these kids. They're not as smart as they think they are. You cannot cover your face and claim anonymity. It's not. It doesn't work that way.
Yes.
It don't work that way.
You know, and that's one of the things, if we could just, because all roads lead back to COVID, if we could just go back to them convincing people to cover their face and that it made you a better person if you did. First of all, that was a trial run for something like Sharia law to see if we can convince you that it's better for men if women would just cover up.
And for garbage like this.
Yeah, no. But second
Antifa.
of all, what did we hear from people that when they, first of all, for a nation that has, I think, 33% that cannot read on grade level, covering the mouth really does not help the learning curve for reading, because a lot of people, that's how you learn the words. That's how it's by able to watch somebody's lips. But if we just go back to how people covered their faces for the first time now in banks and in stores. Most banks have a sign that says, please remove your hat, sunglasses, because they have cameras. They want to be able to see if you're going to break a law. They want to be able to know who you are.
Did y'all hear about the Louvre getting broken into and stealing high-priced jewels from, like, the French crown? That's just ridiculous. The Pink Panther's out again. That is,
Wasn't it just singing that the other day? Ooh, I had a feeling in my spirit. Can we just give a round of applause to our press secretary, the beautiful mom who pulls she wears a lot of different hats, but she does it very well. The first part of this, I love how she talks about, she brings charts, she brings visuals to the press conference room. Let's take a listen.
Of many countries throughout the world. At the top is Switzerland. They're only paying 1/4 for interest rates. Cambodia, Japan, Denmark, Thailand, Botswana, Barbados, Taiwan, Bulgaria, Cuba, Sweden, Morocco, Cabo Verde, South Korea, Algeria, Canada, Albania, Libya, Malaysia, China, New Zealand, Trinidad and Tobago, Czechia, Bolivia, Australia, Costa Rica, the Bahamas, Kuwait, Papua New Guinea, Bosnia, United Kingdom, and the UAE are all paying lower interest rates than the United States of America, which has one of the hottest and strongest economies in the world. The president sent this note to the Fed chair. It says, Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune and continue to do so. You should lower the rate by a lot. Hundreds of billions of.
Yes, lower the interest rates. So guys, all those countries that she has named so wonderfully, they all pay less in interest rates than you. And you want to know why? Because of the Fed chair, Jerome, too late Powell. Do we have contact information for Jerome Powell?
I don't think so, but we definitely need to find it because that's another call to action. I think we need to make a page of calls to action so that if you are in anywhere and you have a few 10 minutes of your time, you can go through our call to action and make all those phone calls and send those emails because we need everybody to participate in our governance in order to move the needle of America first. It doesn't just happen when you show up to vote. You have to participate.
So do you know what the Federal Reserve does? Unlike your senator or House of Representatives representative, who has an individual line to each one of them, the Federal Reserve, which was not constitutional in its formation, and you have literally no control over, they do not answer to you, technically, because they're not voted in, they're appointed. They have one line for a switchboard operator. You want to talk about no accountability, leave a message at the beep? Like, seriously?
Yep, and they probably don't even answer it.
Or
they don't even listen.
Voicemails.
Well, you know what? We're about to find that fax number. Look, where there's a will, there's a way. We might even organize a protest outside the dang building. Come on, y'all. Like, let's get active. If you could show up to a Trump rally, you can make some dang phone calls.
Fishback. We'll get in touch with him and see what the best way is to contact him. I'm sure he's got something. So anyway, that I just had to share that with you. Get your blood boiling, get you awake a little bit this Monday, realizing that you, the middle-class America, red-blooded Americans, you're getting screwed, and it's by Jerome Powell, and it doesn't feel good, and other countries are not getting screwed. So
right, and a lot of the companies are worldwide. They're not just here in America.
A vested global interest.
Yeah.
Not you, middle class. Ugh, makes me so mad. All right, let's talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Gover-nator.
What? I'll be
the
back.
Gover-nator. Remember the Terminator? No.
I get it.
Am I speaking to my? Is that a little too elder? No. Okay. Take a look at this. Former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was really cool when they had a Republican governor, right? He demands the United States adopt nationwide mandatory voter ID. He basically torched the left's argument, saying almost every country in Europe, all you leftists who like to vacation in Europe, every country in Europe requires ID. Guess what? Those of you leftists that like to vacation in Europe, what do you need to get over there? A frickin' ID. They have routine ID voter, and their voter turnout is not any different than ours. So the idea that requiring voter ID is somehow going to lessen, voter turnout. Our issue in this country with voter turnout is apathy, not ID. The reason why we have low turnout in this country is because of apathy. Because if it doesn't affect you and you don't think that there's anything in it for you, you don't turn out to vote. It's not because somebody requires you to have an ID. Because if that's the case, we would have nobody driving vehicles with IDs. Nobody would be opening bank accounts. Sorry.
No, seriously, you wouldn't be able to go or do or participate in literally anything. You need an ID to do anything and everything in America. I don't understand why there's such a pushback on that.
And I don't understand why they make it racial. I mean, you heard Ketanji Brown, the one Supreme Court justice, basically say, this is what she said. That it's just like when you have a disability. She likened it to ADA, and they didn't have access to buildings. Okay, so the Americans with Disabilities Act was formed so that buildings are accessible. But what does that have to do with needing an ID to vote? And she's like, well, because you're minority communities, it's not accessible. Wait, did you just say that?
How is it not accessible? I'm trying to figure out how it's not accessible. If you actually want to fight something that benefits inner city communities, how about we address food deserts? How about we address red tape that keeps grocery stores from sitting in these areas? How about we address the fact that more policing in the area would keep the areas safer from mischievous behavior in order for these companies, these food deserts, to actually have grocery stores?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
The ID is not the problem.
No, you want to know what part of the problem is? And Krista in the control room, I want to skip forward to not the next one, but the following one.
Dang, we're almost out of time already?
That's titled, It's titled Disgusting, because this is part of the problem. Okay, the No Kings protest, you have a right to protest all you want, just don't burn stuff down. And we don't have a king, so it must have worked. But during some of the video that we saw firsthand, take a look at what this person did. See if you can see what she's motioning there. Bullet to the neck. Did you see that? Meet, because we'll have her name here, Lucy Martinez, an elementary school teacher from Chicago who thought it was funny to mock Charlie Kirk's death. This woman teaches children. She's now the perfect face of the No Kings movement, a movement that preaches love but celebrates assassination. Evil has just been exposed. We hope that Nathan Hale Elementary School will take a long look at Lucy Martinez, and those who live and vote within the district in Chicago will understand how much your teachers union is not working for you. It's working against you.
Yep. I believe she's been terminated from her position. So goodness. Thank goodness. You know, to reiterate what conservative Ant said, he said these people wouldn't even care if it was one of their own by their behavior, because that is a lack of compassion and empathy for another human being, regardless of political ideology or religious background. A man was murdered in cold blood in front of millions of people. There's a special
a wife was made a widow, and children were made without now have to grow up without their dad. You know who does get it? I saw this independent.
Pray for her redemption.
Yeah, independent journalist post. His name is Gene Robinson. He goes by @AlBuffaloTonight. He says it better than any of us, and I want to give him like the full minute and a half, because this was pretty amazing. Take a listen.
Every time President Trump sends in the National Guard to protect a Democrat-run city, it's the same white liberals who hide behind private security that call it authoritarianism. But tell me something. Who's protecting the people of Boston, Bushwick, New York City, San Francisco, Memphis, Philadelphia, Paterson, New Jersey, Detroit, Michigan? In Chicago alone, there are over 2,500 shootings every year. Every year! More than 600 homicides annually. You can count on it. It's perennial. And thousands of sexual assaults, robberies, and burglaries. That's not a statistic, folks. That's an entire neighborhood. That a mother who can't let her kids play outside, a grandmother sleeping on the floor to avoid stray bullets. And you have the nerve to have a No Kings rally? What's wrong with you people? And what do these so-called activists actually do for us? They rally by the tens of thousands. Not to stop the shootings in my neighborhood, but to stop the National Guard from stepping in to protect us. They don't live where their compassion lands. They don't hear the gunfire. They don't smell the fear. But they'll protest protection and call it justice. You want equity? Well, then trade places with us. You run your mouth about equity, trade places with us. You want understanding? Move into our community. Move into the community that your votes destroyed. Safety isn't authoritarianism. It's human, it's moral, it's biblical. And if it's good enough for your neighborhood, it should be good enough for mine. Stop calling protection oppression.
Ooh.
Thank you, sir. I could not have said it better myself. That is absolutely freaking amazing. Fantastically amazing. I don't know. Whatever it is. It's awesome.
And that's why I was like, ooh, he needs a spot on our show. I've reached out to him, so we may be able to get him.
Goodness gracious, that was fire.
That's @AlBuffalo Night. If you guys want to follow him on social media.
I'm following right now.
Okay.
Thanks, Al.
Okay.
Thanks,
I want to just, while we're giggling, I just want to make sure that everybody understands there was a video, fake news video that was circulating along with a fake news picture. Take a look at this. MSNBC is having to eat crow this morning, and they should. I hope it tastes good with their coffee. They showed this crowd at a No Kings rally in Boston, and we're like, look at the turnout, until community notes say this is a video from 2017 of a Boston protest. It was not any type of Kings rally, so they had to pull that down and kind of had to I guess, come out with a retraction and saying sorry. We used to do this all the time. We didn't realize you guys woke up to it. Oops. So sorry. So sorry. But before we leave our guests today, we've got just a couple minutes left. I want to show you guys what Allie, this is another one of the memes of the week, I think. This is the Trump edition. Take a look. I like it. I'm here for it.
I love that. That's awesome.
Isn't that cute?
Yep.
It feels like this is our new motto, right? Like, Allie, you have
we've been saying
that says
this.
FAFO on your door, on your
I
dash.
do.
in your car.
It's on my dash of my car. And we've been saying this since he won. It is the FAFO administration. 1,000%.
We just want to see justice, and I'm speaking specifically about all things that are tied to General Michael Flynn and what they've done to him. And
COVID.
We are a big administration of very well-versed people. We can do this. We can cover all things. Our country depends on it. And I don't want people to say, well, while we're looking over here, they're not paying attention to this. Work on all the things. Work on all the things. I want to see from Comey to Bolton to, those that knew that we were involved in turning a blind eye to the young people that were being trafficked across our border, to COVID and its origins, all the things. To Thomas Massie, who we're still waiting on. Just put out a statement, sir. You got a whole department that helps you do that. We'll give you a platform.
That's what your comms director is for, sir.
Love to hear that it's not true. Or I don't know how you explain it, but.
Well, it's probably something extremely political, like, oh, well, donors come in from all over the place and they give you money and it doesn't matter because you don't do their bidding, but it's still, I don't know.
But it does matter. It does matter because you can't tell me that you don't do their bidding. You're going to tell me somebody gives you money to run for office and there's nothing in return? That happens when mom and pops donate their last $10, their last $20. Of course, they just expect you to go in there and do a good job and be a part of their voice. But you're going to tell me that hundreds of thousands of dollars get put into a PAC for you and there's no strings attached? Then why did we not see a lot of aggressive action when people were against COVID and against COVID mandates? Even here in the state of Florida, when you go back and you look, that these representatives were heavily funded by Pfizer and Moderna. Well, no wonder why you're not speaking up for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crazy. It's insane.
We don't spend all of our days angry. We actually had a good time this weekend.
We did. It was lovely. It was a lovely weekend.
Saturday, we got to lay out by the pool.
Yeah, we did. What I loved the most was that, it wasn't just, honestly, it was like CPAC for moms. It really was.
Yeah.
It was like CPAC for moms. We got refed, refilled up, re-energized, and ready to go out and make a difference in our communities. It was just phenomenal. Tina Desevich did an incredible job.
Tina Desevich, our hats off to you because this is
everyone else. And she wanted no credit, honestly. There were people there that were trying to give her credit, and she's just like, nope, hands off. And I love that they give awards to their most active members, and their members vote for whoever they get the awards to. And it's just, it's incredible, guys. It's incredible. I love it.
It is incredible. And listen,
proud to be a part of it.
If you want to get plugged in, please go to Moms for Liberty online. You can start a chapter. They still need more chapters. Moms for America is another great organization. Turning Point, if you start a chapter in your area. This is what it's going to take, guys. It's going to take not just getting involved in local Republican conservative politics, but it's going to actually take getting involved with some of these organizations that work independently of the party. And there's a reason for that. Sometimes it's easier to get things done and move the needle. So that's it for us. Yeah.
Hang on. The Senate will be voting for the 11th time today to reopen the government. Speaker Mike Johnson is speaking right now. So we'll see what happens. All right, y'all. We love you guys. Catch us here tomorrow. We'll let you know what happens with the vote. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. We love y'all. Mwah. See you tomorrow.
Mwah. See you guys tomorrow.